perfect mess is my perfect mess. Perfect mess is my perfect mess.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Perfect Mess Podcast. I am your host, Ray Molina, and you are now tuned into episode number 30. We are finally getting up there in episodes, and I got to tell you, man, I'm just really happy to be here still and doing this. It's been quite the journey for me. I believe we are now going into being up for about a year now. Since the pandemic is when we kicked off the podcast, or when I kicked off the podcast. And I'm just happy to be here, man. You know, this has been quite the release for me. It's been, I think I've mentioned a couple of times, it's been like therapy for me. It's just been a way for me to get things off my chest and things that I've dealt with personally. And not only that, but share them with the world and share them with you guys who tune in and subscribe to the podcast. And from what I'm being told, help you guys out a little bit, with maybe some stuff that you've been dealing with as well. So thank you again for tuning in and for checking me out. So last episode 29, I hope it helped a bit, with simplifying some things in your life and maybe helping you declutter some things and attack some of these bills and debt that you have. I know that I, as of this last week, just crushed a couple of more things doing that same little program that I've been telling you about on that last podcast. And I did have some people hit me and telling me that they appreciated that. Some people told me they bought the book. A couple of people told me they watched the Netflix documentary on minimalism. And I'm just really glad I could pass along some information. I used to be the guy who always thought like, oh, if I've seen it, then everybody else has seen it. Or if I read the book, then probably everybody I know read the book, and that's not the case. So I'm just really glad I can help pass on some information that could possibly help you guys out. Like I said, it's done wonders for me, and I really appreciate the feedback you gave me for the last episode. Let's talk about what's been going on real quick. Things have been okay with me over here. Pretty uneventful, which is good for me because I usually have a lot of stuff going on. But the kids are getting back to baseball finally. And we're getting ready to start our baseball season here for Little League for my kids. So they're excited about that. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was excited about it, because I am. Not just for my kids, but for all of the kids and even the parents, man, because the parents, we've been the ones at home with our kids and they're bouncing off the walls with nothing to release, you know what I mean, when it comes to being outside and doing athletics and whatnot. So I'm excited for the parents. I'm excited for the kids. And this is going to be a really good season. It'll be different, because we do have to take certain precautions and whatnot. But it's that initial season getting back that's going to set the tone for moving forward. So I'm actually really happy about it. So we're excited. The kids will actually be getting back to school here pretty soon as well. From what I'm being told, we're looking at, I think, the April, the week after spring break, I want to say. So we'll see. I have my opinions about it because I really don't want my kids wearing a mask all day in school. But from what I understand, they won't be at school for, I guess, the full duration. From what I understand, they won't be fully masked at all times. I don't know, like when they go outside, if they can take it off or whatnot. It's going to be one of those things where we kind of play it by ear when we get them to school and kind of see how things work. So, I'm happy about it. My son Jordan, he's in middle school, so he hasn't even been able to enjoy his first year of middle school. So, he'll be getting, month and a half in before the year ends, which will be good. He'll be able to meet his friends finally in person. And then just kind of see how middle school works. So when we get back next year, hopefully things are somewhat normal, whatever normal will be, and then he can just jump right into it. Jaden, he's still in elementary school, so he's familiar with his school, but he just misses his friends. So it'll be good to have him back at his school as well, to see his friends. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. That's kind of been what's been going on with us. Um, you know, the kids just had a baseball tryout this last weekend, and you know, usually when we have baseball, after games or tryouts like we had on Saturday, we'll go and grab something to eat, and it's usually as a family. And this Saturday, we were done and we were going to get some food, and the kid's mom had messaged me and said, "Hey, I'd like to have lunch with you guys if tryouts are over." And I said, "Yeah, we're actually in line getting food right now. Do you want me to grab you something?" And she was like, "Yeah, please." And I said, "All right, meet us over here at the park." They have this nice little park and in East San Jose, where I used to go to high school at. It's a Chinese garden where you go in there and they kind of have a beautiful setup and whatnot, and there's squirrels and stuff. So we usually go there a lot with the kids. Excuse me, I'm drinking a little tea right now. For those of you who care, it is about 2 o'clock in the morning that I'm recording this podcast. So I'm in wind down mode, and I just figured I'd get one in before I hit the sack tonight, and talk about, and get you guys up to date with what's going on with me, and then hit on something. But anyways, so we met up at this park, and I gotta say, man, I'm starting to get a better hold of this co-parenting thing. For those of you who have, followed my journey from episode 1, and for those of you who know me outside the podcast that have nothing to do with episode 1, that just know me in person, that know my life, that maybe have grown up with me, or maybe just know me, just met me through someone, or maybe we're family, whatever it is. You guys know my struggles with this co-parenting thing. For me, was very hard early on. It's very difficult to deal with having to now share my kids between homes, and it didn't go over well with me. It broke my heart, to be candid, and so I had a hard time dealing with that. But time has gone by, and as you can tell, the last few episodes I've been sharing with you the progress I've been making in my life and the things that I've been doing to now better that situation. And it seems like it's all starting to slowly come full circle. And I'm quite proud of that, to be honest with you. When we were having lunch, it was cool to sit there and, eat with the kids. And, we had a decent adult conversation, which, I can be honest. I don't know that we've had one of those for a long time. For a while. A lot of the stuff that we do is via text. Every now and then we will get on the phone, but it's mainly through text. And it's just something that we haven't done very much of, but it's actually gotten easier as time has gone by. And Saturday was more evidence of that, because we actually got to the kids were using our phones. We have the Pokemon Go app, and they love to do little Pokemon adventures where they catch Pokemons through the parks and wherever we go. So they were kind of doing their little adventure, and we were just walking and having a talk. And I gotta be real, man. I don't remember the last time we did that. I don't. I know it's been at least 4 years, and I would like to say it's probably been more like 5 or 6 years since we had talks like that. It's probably been even longer. So, you know, I guess you could say, you want to call it turning the hump, or turning the corner, getting over the hump, maybe getting past the pain of a divorce, getting past the disappointment, getting past the grudge. You know what I mean? Because I'll be honest, I had a grudge. I was upset about it. Um, and I just think that, as I've put in the work to try to become a better man, become a better person, and learn to understand that, even though we failed at our marriage, we don't have to fail at being parents, and we don't have to fail at being friends, and we don't have to fail at being cordial with each other. And it's taken some time, but I feel like we're we've made some really good progress. And yeah, again, it was evident on Saturday. Um, it was very cool. You know, it was. I used to feel. Can I be honest? I mean, I'm always honest with you guys, but I used to be very short in conversation. I would keep it very short, and honestly, I wouldn't even look. I wouldn't even make eye contact because I don't know why. To be honest, I don't know why. I wouldn't make eye contact. I would kind of just be, I would hear, but I wouldn't look. I would listen and kind of nod my head and then be like, oh, yeah, and kind of keep it to 3 or 4 word responses. Um, and that was me. I guess that was the stubborn me. That was the me that was still hurt, the me that was still let down. And I'm not there no more. I can say that I do have days like that still, but for the most part, I'm not there anymore. And it feels good. You know, it does really feel good to be in a better place now. And I think the kids see that. I think the kids enjoyed, um, you know, if you guys hear that, that is a helicopter, right? When I took my headphones off and I'm like, what is that sound? I live by a hospital that has a trauma center, and so they're always, helicopter using the helicopter to bring in people that need help and whatnot. So, anyways, that's what that sound is. If you can hear that, because I heard it really clear right now. Um, Back to what I was saying. The kids are. The kids are. I think they can see it, and like I said, they don't have any bad memories of our relationship. They don't have any bad memories of any arguments because we didn't do all that. We didn't, ever have these crazy knock them down, drag them out fights. We weren't, that just wasn't our relationship. We didn't call each other names. We didn't throw things. We didn't do any of that stuff. So they don't have those memories. But I think it's refreshing to them to know that, hey, mom and dad aren't together no more. Um, but it's kind of cool that they can be around each other and talk, and we can do our Pokemon Go stuff or do our baseball stuff, and there's no problems. So it's taken some while, but I feel good that we're there. Um, but that was Saturday, and that's kind of what's been going on. So if you are in a similar situation and you are struggling to find a way to communicate with your ex spouse, ex girlfriend, ex wife, and or vice versa, ex husband, ex boyfriend, and you have kids, and you're feeling like you're not gonna ever get there, you will get there. But if I can tell you, you need to heal yourself. You need to first heal what's going on with you, whether it be talking about it with a counselor or whether it be going to church, and I'm not pushing religion because I don't do the religion thing. But whatever it is, you need to heal yourself first. And hopefully that other person is taking steps to heal themselves. And the more and more you guys work on yourselves, you start to realize the anger, the disappointment, the resentment slowly dissipates, and you guys can come together eventually and be. Maybe you won't ever be best friends, but maybe you'll be cordial. And for what it's worth, sometimes being cordial is all you're gonna get, and usually that's enough. So don't give up. Keep doing the work. Keep working on yourself, and hopefully your partner or your ex-partner is working on themselves as well. I understand that sometimes that other partner is not doing it, and they're very, very angry, and they hold a lot of grudges against you, and it just isn't going to work. At the very least, work on yourself. Okay. I don't hide anything on this podcast. I have openly told you guys about all the drama in my life, where I've failed, how my failures, my shortcomings, how terrible of a person I used to be. I've openly cried to you guys on here, man, and I just think if you understand that if you put the work in to help yourself to get better yourself, that's all you can do, and that's half the battle, and then hopefully your partner comes around, or your ex-partner comes around, and then you guys can meet somewhere in the middle and become friends or be cordial. All right, so I'll stop blabbing on that because I think I went a little farther than I wanted to on that, but I hope it helps. That's been my life recently. And then, really something that I've been focusing on is just staying out of the way, man. I've just been trying to make sure that me, Ray Molina, I stay out of the way. I stay out of people's business that isn't mine. I don't go anywhere where I know I'm going to be in a situation that I don't want to be in. I just stay away from certain situations. I stay away from phone calls. I stay away from, all these things, websites. I just been trying to focus on staying out of the way so my life can remain simple and remain easy. So that's all I've been doing, man. Probably the last few weeks to a month. And it's a struggle. It's not easy. Staying out the way is not as easy as you think it is. You're like, yeah, all I got to do is just don't go anywhere. Don't, stay busy, stay working, stay doing stuff with my kids. But there are always things that are going to drag you into some other stuff. And you just got to be able to identify that stuff and say, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And I won't tolerate it. So you just got to get to that point. It's not always easy, but you can do it. Give me 1 second. All right. So let's jump off into the meat of this, into this podcast. You guys are like, the meat? That was 18 minutes of just you giving us some. I know. I always do that. But this podcast isn't about co-parenting and whatnot. It's about something I like to call the highlight reel. So I'm not going to go too long on this podcast regarding this topic, but it came up because how I just told you I was staying out of the way and just kind of focusing on me. I had someone message me because I put that on Instagram, and someone said, I hear you, man. I'm doing my best to stay out of the way too, but I struggle so bad with, being on social media. Even though I'm just staying to my own. When I get on social media, I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I'm scrolling through my my list when people post stuff, your timeline. And then same thing with Instagram. And this person was like, and it frustrates me because, I'm trying to get my life to where to where I'm happy again. And all I keep seeing is, these families taking trips, these families doing this, or this guy doing this that that I know, and he's got a better job now. He's got this, or this girl that I know, she lost a bunch of weight, and now she's dating some guy that I used to know, and blah blah blah, like just all these things. And I said, that's called the highlight reel. And what I mean by that is, it's very rare for someone to actually go on social media, or anything for that matter, and tell you the times that they are doing bad, the times that they're struggling with, the times that that they aren't very proud of. Most people aren't going to do that. I said that's why when you see it, it's kind of mind blowing. You're wondering, wow, or usually people say, wow, that takes a lot of courage to say what you just said and to admit what you just admitted, or to share what you just went through with a bunch of people, with us. And it does take a lot of it'll take a lot of courage to do that, but most people are going to give you the highlight reel. And what I mean by that is they're always going to give you the best days of their week. Okay. They're going to give you when they had dinner at some fancy restaurant. They're going to give you when they got flowers at the office. They're going to give you when they just got their car washed, and and it looks all shiny and brand new. They're going to give you the photos of, the kids running around and, in matching outfits and having a blast at a park. They're gonna give you the moment that I don't know. They're gonna give you all these wonderful moments, and you're gonna sit there and start questioning, why is my life not that good? Why are these people living life to the fullest, and I'm sitting here going through all these dark times? And I gotta be honest with you, and I gotta tell you that is not the case, okay? Because every single one of those people that does that every day, there's someone on their timeline that knows them off the timeline, that knows that there is something going on behind closed doors that they are struggling with, and is watching these people do that, and saying, man, I know that looks beautiful, but I know what she's going through. I know what he's going through. I know what their family's going through. You know what I mean? I know what their kids are going through. I know what's going on with their dad. I know what's going on with their uncle. I know you know what I mean? Like, there's people on their timeline that see this and know the truth. Nobody's going to ever just come out and blab it out. It's just not going to happen. So you're always going to get the highlight reel. And you got to understand, in order for you to get past that and to start healing yourself, like I was talking about earlier, is you got to control what you intake. Okay. I think I talked about this some time ago, that I do that with the news. So remember when the politics were going super crazy, excuse me. And, the news was just feeding you every piece of negative news, right? And I got to a point where it was starting to really affect me every day. So what I started doing was I just unfollowed every news channel that I was following. And the reason why I did that was because I didn't want to give these news outlets the avenue to keep feeding me every day, every little 10-minute clip or 10-second clip or 2-minute clip of whatever, and just keep feeding me all day. I got it to a point where if I wanted to watch the news or go read the news, I had to go get it. I would have to go to that page and read it, or I would have to go to that YouTube channel or whatever it was and watch the video. So I stopped allowing these news channels to feed me. Now, here's the other thing. I stopped allowing my own friends and family to do the same thing, because we all have drama. We all have things going on. I am no exception to the rule, okay? I am guilty of in my past, going on Facebook and just unleashing sometimes when I'm struggling. I don't do that much anymore on Facebook. Um, Now, when I post stuff on Instagram, it's more with a story behind it that not only gives you where I've struggled and how far I've come, but it always ends with a positive note. So it's like to encourage people that if they're going through what I've gone through, that you can get past it. So that's more of what my posts are now. But I'm guilty in the past of being that person, of putting toxic stuff on Facebook on my timeline. And I know there are a ton of people who probably unfollowed me. And if not unfollowed me, they unfriended me on Facebook. Now, here's a key word: unfollow and unfriend. You can do that on Facebook. Okay. So what I do when I get a friend request, and anybody who's on Facebook right now, on my personal Facebook, I maybe you know this already, maybe you don't. If not, sorry, here's a news flash. The minute I get a friend request and it's someone that I've known for years or a family member or whatever, I accept the friend request because that's my friend, that's my family. But I automatically hit the unfollow. And the reason why I do that, it's nothing personal against anybody, but I do that because I don't want my timeline to be a bunch of stories from everybody, because what happens is you start to get all the information that maybe you don't want to know about. Okay, maybe you don't want to know about someone that you haven't talked to in 20 years just got into a car accident. Maybe you don't want to hear about someone that you used to care about hooked up with someone that you also used to care about, and you're like, wait, how did that happen? Because then you see what I'm talking about, and then the gossip happens. Then you message someone like, hey, did you see so and so is this? And so you see what I'm talking about. So I just didn't want any of that. I don't want to see any of it. Now, that may sound insensitive, but it's not, because here's the thing. They're on my page, right? I want them on my page. But when I want to check in on them, usually I will I'm pointing to my phone. If you're on YouTube, I will pick up my phone and I will call or text them. At the very least, I will go to their Facebook and check what they've been up to. But I don't just keep getting their updates every day I log on, because that's really none of my business. And I think that's a problem with social media now. We've become accustomed to everybody's business being our business because they're on our timeline. And to me, that's a problem. It was a problem for me. And I know it's a problem for a lot of people that I know, because they've told me themselves. They've told me, I'm like, I don't know how to get out of this rut I'm in. I seen so-and-so post this and it got under my skin, or I didn't, I put this photo up and so-and-so liked it, but they didn't comment, or how come, I didn't get as many likes or thumbs ups for this picture when, it was better than that picture, and the story that I put up for that one is much better. Such petty stuff, but trust me, it happens, and this petty stuff becomes bigger stuff. All right. So to avoid the highlight reel, if I can give you a tip, is just accept the friendship and hit the unfollow button for your own sanity. Now, if you want that, that's fine. But this message is for people who are looking to try and keep their life focused on moving forward and getting better, and trying to better themselves. Because you can only get better in your life. You can only move forward as if you focus on the task at hand. And the task is your life, you trying to be a better woman, a better man, a better father, a better husband, a better wife, a better girlfriend, a better mother, whatever it is. Your goal is to try to better yourself. And all this other stuff is a distraction. It is. And trust me, you're going to get sucked into it. You will. Because you're going to log on and you're not going to have any intention to know what so-and-so is going through or what so-and-so said about the other person. And you're going to see it simply because you logged on at the right time and read a post that you probably shouldn't have read, and now your day went from going straight and narrow off to the right, and now you're texting so and so going, dude, did you see the nerve of so and so putting this up? Can you believe that? I'm gonna call so and so and see if they seen it. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna do that. Let me screenshot it and I'm gonna send it over. You see what I'm saying? That's what that turns into. I'm telling you from experience, I was there. I was there and I had to stop doing it. So, again, I accept the friendships from family, friends, loved ones, and I just hit unfollow. And again, it's not personal to anybody. It's simply so I can keep my damn sanity, to tell you the truth. Just keep my sanity and stay focused on what I'm trying to do with my life. So that's what I'm talking about with the highlight reel. The same thing with Instagram. So if you're on my Instagram, I don't follow a lot of people, but the people that I do follow, I'll be honest with you, half of them are probably muted because I just don't want to be sucked into anything. You know what I mean? The same thing with Facebook. Now, don't get me wrong. I go to these people's pages because I follow them. I obviously care about them, or I like them, or I enjoy them. I enjoy their content. But I go and get their content when I have some downtime and I'm laying down or I'm sitting down having some food and I want to look. You know what? Let me go to my friends. Oh, let me check on so and so. Let me see how they're doing. Hop on over to their page and like a few pictures, read a few posts. Maybe shoot a DM like, hey man, that post was super dope. I didn't know you guys went there. That's awesome. Stuff like that. But at the same time, I just don't let that stuff feed me all the time. You know what I mean? So you have to control this highlight reel. And remember, that's what it is, a highlight reel. Most people are not going to tell you when they're down and out. Now, I do that. But for me, it's a way that I've healed myself, that it's a way that I've gotten over the stuff that traumatized my life, the stuff that I did that was self-inflicted, the person that I was. Because man, like I said before, I wasn't the best friend. I wasn't the best guy to be around. I wasn't the best guy to date. I wasn't the best guy to be married to. I wasn't always the best father. I just wasn't. So for me, my healing process was to accept that, talk about it, not deny it, and share it with the world. Because when I did that, there was a sense of freedom. There was a sense of, okay, I got that out. Now I can move forward. All right. A lot of people don't do that. They suppress all these things that of who they were. And then when it comes out from other people, then they don't know how to react. They don't know how to handle it. Then they're scrambling like, oh man, how do I handle this? Do I argue with this person? Do I kick them off my social media? Do I block them? Do I say I'm gonna fight them? Do I send them a nasty DM? Do I send them a Facebook Messenger that says, hey, how dare you? Like, nah, you don't do any of that. You just don't. All right. Again, most people aren't going to give you their lowlights, and you can't blame them. Most people just don't want the world to know when they're doing bad. Someone like me, I'm a different breed, man. I choose to share my scars, choose to share my wounds, my cracks, and that's what makes me who I am. I'm human. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I'm damaged. I have a past that I'm not super proud of, but I'm working on it every day. And I think being honest about that and sharing that with you guys here has resonated, and I'm happy about that. Now, on the flip side of all of this, okay, On the flip side of this highlight reel, and only showing, showing all the great things that are going on in your life, and maybe you're not showing the times when you struggle, that's fine. Not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody has a podcast like me or has lived their life in the public. I've been living my life in the public since 1998. All right. That's when I started doing music. So I understood at that time that my life was going to be public from that point on. And now we're talking 23 years now. So this is nothing new to me. Now, what I'm trying to get at with that is don't allow people to knock you back from your current chapter. And you're probably going, what is he talking about when it comes to chapter? For instance, me, I'm in chapter 46 of my life. I'm 46 years old. All right. A lot has changed in my life. And this goes back to, remember I said, you're always going to be, there's always going to be somebody that you are the villain in their story. Okay. There's always going to be that person that, no matter how much you've changed, whatever happened between you two or this person or this group of people that you were with, whether it be family, friends, or whatever it is, anybody in between, they're always going to have you as that last memory, that villain. Okay. Or if you were a great friend or a great family member or a great, whatever you want to call it, lover, they're going to hold you here and say, oh man, this guy was a great person. But you got to understand, people have different variations of who you were in their head based on the last time they encountered you. All right. Now, what I'm trying to get to is, do not allow people to, because you're not sharing your lowlights and maybe you're online and you're sharing your highlights, don't allow people to come into your life and say, hey, I know you're on chapter 46 of your life, but remember chapter 27? Don't allow someone to do that to you. Okay? And you're like, well, how do I stop them from doing that? It's as simple as taking the method that I told you with muting, unfollowing on these social media platforms, with doing the same thing in real life. Okay? Whether it be blocking a phone number, not returning that call, whatever it is, do it. Because what this person is going to end up doing, and maybe their intentions is just to remind you that you were a scumbag or you were a such and such back in the days. That's fine. Or maybe their intentions is even worse, to try and hold you down and keep reminding you that, hey, 20 years ago you were this guy, or 30 years ago you were this woman. Remember you in high school? Remember how you got around? Remember that? Okay. I get it. You know what I mean? Everybody has a past. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people that are gonna remember one chapter of your life because that was the only time they were around. All right? But don't give these people that power. Don't give them that stronghold over your life. Okay? Because remember what chapter you're in now. All right? And for me, I'm in chapter 46. You're not going to come into my life and tell me about chapter 20, chapter 17, chapter 25, chapter 28. And I don't even care to hear about chapter 32 to 35. Okay? I don't. You have to get to that point where you're like, I'm not going to tolerate that. Okay? Especially if you've made steps and taken steps to change your life, to get better. All right. You cannot allow people to keep doing this. Keep saying, hey, remember this, remember that. You can't, because you're never going to move forward. You're never going to become that person that you envision here. For me, my journey started after I had went through my divorce and my son had gotten me back into church. That's where I started my new chapter. And that was about 3.5 years ago. About 3 years ago. So I don't care to hear about anything prior to that. Okay? I just don't. I've made amends with certain situations in my life, and the ones that I haven't, it's because I have no contact with these people, or it's just something that isn't so significant that I need to go and rehash everything to blow it all up. All right. And you have to be okay with that. So if you're going through this situation, and people are trying to remind you of who you are and who you were, and whatnot, because all you're sharing is the highlights of your current life, dead that. Don't let it happen. Okay. Don't allow that to happen. All right. I'm not telling you need to go on social media and share the times when you struggle. But if you are sharing the positive things that are going on in your life, and there are still people around trying to remind you of who you were back in the day, then you just need to cut these people off. Okay. Unfollowing them on social media, muting them, none of that is going to work in real life. You just got to cut them off. Okay. But that is only if you're trying to change your life, change the narrative, and move forward to a more positive life, to where you continue to get better every day, whether you're a father, a mother, a husband, boyfriend, whatever it is. And you have kids, and maybe you don't have kids. You're just trying to get better at life. All right. It's very imperative that you focus on that. The goal is to consistently move forward. Okay. Here's the thing. Nobody's perfect. You're never going to be perfect. Okay. Even let's say you fix all the things. Let's say you contact everybody you've ever done wrong to, and you fixed it. We're human. More stuff is going to happen, and you're going to have to deal with that as well. Maybe it won't be as severe as the stuff that you did when you were younger, but more stuff's going to happen. We're going to make people angry, and people are going to make us angry. All right. And now that I'm touching on that, we also got to get better at, accepting when someone comes to us and apologizes to us for maybe something that they did in our past, because we can't be expecting people to forgive us for what we've done, and then we're still holding grudges on people for things that they did to us in our past. It has to go both ways. You can't expect someone to wipe the slate clean for you if you're not willing to do it for them. And nobody says you guys have to be friends or whatever it is that you guys were afterwards, but you can be, again, cordial and say, hey, we agree, we're good, shake hands, whatever it is, and move forward. All right. So to wrap this up, don't pay attention to the highlight reel. Okay. Don't let that get under your skin. You're always going to get the highlights of people's weeks, people's days. And that's just the nature of social media. Most people are not going to put up when they just went through a breakup, or when they lost their home, or when they lost their job. Most people are not going to put that stuff up. Okay. So if people's timelines are messing with you, do what I told you. Mute, unfollow, whatever you need to do, but protect yourself, protect your peace. Okay. And the other thing is, like I told you, how I deal with, the stuff that I've been through, and the struggles that I had in my past to now, is I share them. I'm open. I'm very candid about my situations, and the ones that I haven't had, an encounter with, from my past, as they come, I hit them head on. It's just, you gotta, if you're trying to move forward and things keep coming up in your past, you just gotta take it for what it is and know that you're not that person anymore, and hit it head on, and whatever that means for you, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a text, whether it's an email, or hey, let's go sit down and have coffee, but just hit it head on and make peace with it, so you can clear your slate and move forward. Because it's imperative for you, for any of us, to move forward, that we do that. All right. That's pretty much all I have, man. It wasn't too much that I wanted to talk about, but I felt like this was an important topic. Like I said, it came up. It's always on Instagram. You guys, you message me on Instagram when I posted up. You really want peace? I said, you really want peace? Learn to stay out of the way. And that's when this topic came up. I started having a DM conversation with somebody about it. So it just made me feel like I should get on my podcast and talk about it a little bit, and maybe pass some information on how I deal with it. Maybe you have your own way to deal with it. Maybe you heard what I just said and said, you know what, I got a better way. I'm always open to hearing ideas, because maybe you could help me out. All right. Let's see. My Instagram is It's Ray Molina, and the podcast Instagram is The Perfect Mess Pod. My website is raymolina.com. I've got merchandise there, t-shirts, hats, beanies. We got flags, we got stickers, we got all kinds of stuff on there. And you can also listen to the podcast. You can check out any books that I read. I do reviews of every book that I read, and then I usually put up an Amazon link if you want to buy it. Yeah, man. So check out raymolina.com. And what else? Oh, if you'd like to donate to the podcast, it's not necessary. All that I ask from you guys is to share, subscribe, follow, leave a review. And if you like an episode, please share it with someone that you think needs to hear it. All right. That's all I really ask. But there have been people who have reached out and said, yo, I love what you're doing. I'd love to throw you a couple of dollars to help grow this thing. If you want to do that, I use Cash App. It is $It's Ray Molina. That is my Cash App. All right. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have. To be blunt, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it's a mess, but it's my mess, and for me, it's the perfect mess. All right. Thanks for listening, and God bless. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Perfect mess is my perfect mess. Perfect mess is my perfect mess.